Guys, what are we looking at today? We are looking at the Ferrum Ffkw Allurus. This, so far today, first day in pockets, has been great. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at it. I want to grab a couple things so I can show you like out-of-box sharpness and a couple little things, because out of character, we are going to measure the behind the edge thickness on this knife because it's amazing. So hang on just a second. I'll be right back. All right, guys, first things first. I just kind of have to do this because I just want to show you guys this knife is insanely sharp right out of box. That's the out of box edge on it. And I just wanted to show you that because we're going to measure the behind the edge thickness here in a second. And I think that has a lot to do with it because this is one of the thinnest knives I've ever seen Elliot make. So let's go ahead and get all this crap out of the way and get around to measuring it a little bit. So behind the edge thickness on this, so let's just go ahead and look at this blade comes down insanely thin. I don't think Elliot has ever made a knife that was this thin. Maybe the Minax, but it's a recurve and it's a little bit thicker than this behind the edge. So let's go ahead and get right behind the edge on this. Guys, 0.0165, 0.0165, and I'm way behind the edge. So you are looking at, let's see here. Let's get right behind the edge. Yeah, 0.0167, 0.0165. That is insanely thin for a production knife. Typically, Elliot is known for big, beefy knives. This thing slices so insanely well. I just had to get that spec. I had to know. I just had to know. Factory edge on it's really good. Now, this is what they call their Pro Series. So they have three different things that they were doing. So they have these. They have these, which were in-house builds. So full production. In-house mid-textile. And then they have these, which are Ferrum Forge designs. So the difference is these are the ones they sell themselves under their brand. These are ones they license to other companies. And then the other one you saw are ones that they were doing builds in-house. They have not done that for a little while. So there was three different aspects to their business. So they have the Pro Series, which is their production line. Now this knife is the Allurus, and it is based off of a knife that was called the Demigod or the Deity. I can't remember which, but at any rate, they took that knife and then they turned it into a club knife, which is they had what they called their high rollers club for a while, which was simply that they had a bunch of really high-end knives that only people that spent a certain amount of money were able to get. So they had to, become a part of the club, and then they got a knife. So this is done in titanium and 20 CV. You can see there, CPM 20 CV, super thin. Handles on this really comfortable. Elliot always puts ergos and comfort first and foremost on his knives. So you've got a really good handle, full 4 fingers for me, with some really amazingly well done jimping. A big full forward finger choil, like on 90% of their knives. There's only a couple of their knives that don't have the big full finger choil, and typically those were ones that they did with Mike Gavick over at Gavco Knives that he released himself, the Mako and things like that. Mike doesn't like finger choils, so you'll see the same model of knife, not the Master Blaster, but the Mako and the Spinner. You'll see ones that Mike did that just don't have that forward finger choil. Nice clean lines. As you would expect, Elliot is really big about the symmetry of blade to handle ratio. You get a lot of knife for the money. From pivot to tip is going to be almost the same as pivot to heel. A lot of knife crammed in there. He uses all the available space. Pocket clip on this so far has been great. Let me grab a couple knives for similar size comparison. Even though I know it's first day in pockets, I just want to give you guys an idea of the size of this knife.
Guys, I hate to interrupt the video because I know we're having fun, but I do have to do the YouTuber thing and remind you that this channel is self-sponsored with all the affiliate links and stuff you see down below. Anything from knives, tools, EDC gear, and Blade HQ, anything, all the Amazon links, they all support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything at checkout. So I'll talk about that at the end of the video. Now let's go back to the knives.
Couple of good full-size knives here. This is the Reate Horizon D. You can see it's about, let's see, what are we looking at? Maybe a 1/2 inch in overall length, shorter than the Reat, and then just about the same on this Sebenza, maybe a little bit closer to, I want to say it's closer to about maybe a little bit less than 1/4 of an inch in difference. But what you are getting is a nice, broad, let me get these out of the way, nice broad blade that transitions down well with beautiful grind. Like I said, this jimping is almost perfect. Pocket clip has been a dream in and out of pocket. Chamfered well all the way across, nice and clean, but you can still see those lines that pop when, that's the cool thing. Like they're chamfered, you can't really feel that as like a straight line, but you can definitely see it in the stonewash. Their company logo in the pivot and the action. Guys, the action on this is just shy of fall shut. You can flip it with just finger pressure on the blade. It does not have a fuller, but you can reverse flick that even without the fuller because there's enough of that blade sticking out right there. You can get in on it. Like I said, not super thin blade stock, but my goodness, the transition on that is insane. Now, I will say I did do one thing to this knife. It's only one thing I did to this knife. I took it apart and I didn't re-oil it, but what I did was I adjusted the lock bar tension ever so slightly. It felt a little soft, which is out of character for a Ferrum forge. I don't know, maybe if this one was one that had, you know, just not gotten played with as much, because Chris and Elliot take these knives when they bring them into the shop, they take them in and they QC every knife. Now, I did not buy this knife. In all transparency, I did not buy this knife. This was sent to me by Chris and Elliot over at Ferrum Forge. So this is mine and they gave it to me, which is kind of, I mean, it's not uncommon because we're really good friends for me to wind up with prototypes. I got my finger in the way. It's not uncommon for me to wind up with prototypes and stuff like that, and then they just tell me to keep it. This time, Chris reached out to me, and he said, hey, have you gotten to see it yet? I said, no. So he was like, well, I'm going to send you one, and I gave him my address, and I told him, you know, I asked him when they needed it back, and they said that I could keep it. So super clean grind on this, the edge grind. So you could see that the blade has been ground extremely well because your edge bevel is extremely consistent and narrow. It is sharp. Like it just literally, I don't know if you can see it, I just literally took a little piece of my thumb off with it. So I have used this today to unbox some other stuff that came into the channel that you'll be seeing in the next few days, hopefully. But yeah, this is a really good knife. I'm really impressed with it. Comfort in hand is just amazing. And one of the cool things about this, and I wanted to save it because a lot of people really don't care about the construction, the fact that this is a two-piece construction as opposed to scale, backspacer, scale, and then hardware and stuff like that. That's going to save you in cost. That's going to save you in cost. It also saves in a little bit of milling because they can just mill this piece. So when they mill it all out, it's all done in a way that's, you know, it's going to be easier to maintenance. You've got less parts. You only basically have 2 screws. You know, well, you've got 3. I'm sorry. You have a 4 pivot screw and then these 2 screws. And it's brilliant how well this goes together as a 2-piece construction. And to tell you the truth, I like the idea of that because if you have so many screws, it's so easy to lose a piece. Like on some of the knives that I have that I really love that Elliot has done, he uses these elaborate standoffs. And this one is, mine were carved on this knife. But the standoffs, if you happen to lose one, you're gonna be hard pressed to find something that's gonna fit that bill. This is going to be pretty simple to take apart. It is. I mean, I took it apart. I took it apart already to adjust the tension. I didn't feel like I needed to oil it. The action on it was really good. I think after it breaks in, you're going to be closer to drop shut. But as far as an all-around performance knife, in and out of pocket, the pocket clip on it, guys, the pocket clip is just about perfect. Like I said, it's nice and tight. It's got a good bit of tension. It's a little bit hollow ground, it looks like, where you've got a little bit of a curvature to it, but it's not so steep that like I had it out here for the same reason. See how abrupt this one was on this Concept Accipiter? You get the same style pocket clip opening, but much easier in and out of pocket. So far in first day carry, I've been pretty impressed with, well, it's not meant to be done like that. I've just been doing it. I've been pretty impressed with how this thing carries and feels. Elliott's designs are always aesthetic, but really, really functional. So we may have a new favorite production Ferrum forge. I was a real big fan of the one he did, the Pro Series that he's done with the re-releases of some other knives. I've seen, you know, the Archbishop 2.0 and the Fortis 2.0. I was impressed with those. I liked those, but I already had those knives. This is something that I could not have gotten because this knife was just not one that they offered. And now it's being released as a Pro Series. And like I said, the Pro Series, what I was saying was that the Pro Series is their production series. They are being done. I didn't see any markings on it. I saw the case. This, by all indications, this is probably the OEM'd by We. So what happens, Elliott designs these knives and then gets the OEM done. He brings them to the shop. They go through each one of these knives. They QC them, make sure there's no issues, no lock rock, nothing like that. They do not release a knife that has issues. And the fact that Elliott is a knife maker means there's a lot of stuff he can fix. I've seen him take knives that may not have went out because of minor things and just tweak and repair them, especially like just simple things like edge grinds. Now, this is not one of Elliott's edges. I can definitely tell when Elliott has resharpened something, he has a specific way that he sharpens knives, and I can pick them out of a lineup. So this is just out of box, ridiculously razor sharp. This is the way it came from the OEM. This is the way it came to me. Brilliant, brilliant showing. I'm glad to see they've got another one out. I love all their knives. I love the guys. I need to get them on the podcast. So, but that's all I've got on this. Like I said, it's just first day, first carry, first impressions. So I'm really digging it. It seems like it's going to be a workhorse. So let's turn this around and do some final thoughts so you guys can carry on about your afternoon.
There you go, guys. The Ferrum Forge Allurus. I think this is my favorite of the Pro Series so far. While it is a little thinner across the back than some of the others, I have yet to find one of Elliott's knives that slices like this thing does. So we'll see how it plays out over the next couple weeks. I don't foresee much of my opinions on this changing because it is such a good knife, but we shall see. Guys, that's it on this one. I love you all. That's not how we do this. If you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down, but tell me why. I can't change the content if you don't tell me what you don't like. If you want to support the channel, it's as simple as, like I always say, like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, hit the bell icon, and if you do hit the bell icon, make sure you've got notifications turned on your device because I put up a lot of content. It's the only way you're going to find out about all of it. If you want to support the channel financially, I mentioned it in the intermission, the little cut-in. I have a ton of affiliate links down below. Anything you purchase supports the channel. I get a little bit of it at checkout, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. The Amazon affiliate links, anything you purchase, even if it's not the item you clicked on, still pays the channel. I have a membership down below that is tier-based. Pick a tier that gets you what you want out of the memberships, but remember, everyone saves $5 off my sharpening service. Everyone has access to my gilded server. The premium tier guys have access to a sharpening tutorial series, and I try to do monthly giveaways for the paying members that are of the premium and baseline tier. That's the benefits, man. There's a lot of different benefits. And the final way is I have a merchandise store on Ember Shirt Co. that I have set up a coupon code for you that works anywhere on Ember Shirt Co. That coupon code is CrazySharp. Of course, all one word, capital C, capital S, CrazySharp. Saves you 10% at checkout. And if you send me pictures of you wearing my merchandise, I will put them in a video. Guys, I love you all. Keep it clean in the comments section. It helps me moderate the channel. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And I will see you in the next video.